Hello everybody, welcome. I am No02. Thank you for watching this video. This is going to be a complete guide on how to level up the factions. Which factions to focus on, right? Pretty common question. Which faction should I be selling my stuff to? Which one should I be focusing on first, right? And if you want the quick synopsis here it is, right? And to no surprise, my recommendation is this, and this is very specific. I recommend that you focus on Osiris first. Focus on Osiris first, up to level 8. Then you focus on Korolev, up to level 12. Then you focus on ICA, up to level 8. At which point, you will have a foundation for having script at the right time, for the things that you need to upgrade your hideouts for, and etc. Now, if you're interested in listening to me talk about this more in depth, continue watching. Otherwise, that's my recommendation. Osiris to 8, Korolev to 12, ICA to 8, and at which point, do whatever you want. Focus on the faction that gives you the best guns after that. Whatever you suits your fancy. But why? Why? Let's get into the why. Let's get into the details. Because boy, do I love listening to myself talk, am I right? The reason why we're focusing on Osiris first and getting it to level 8 specifically. Manticore, green medicine, and the script. Osiris script is used primarily for increasing the generator rate, making your generators for K-Marks and Aurum generate faster, more quantity sooner. And funny enough, those generator types, you have access to upgrading them right out the gate, and those upgrades come in stacks of 5. And so actually very early on, there's a very high demand for Osiris script, sort of exclusively. So we're going to focus on them first. But not only that, we have access to the Manticore relatively early on. By the time you hit level 8, you'll have access to the Manticore. Now, there's been whispers that they're going to nerf this gun potentially, or rework it, or do something with this gun because the Manticore meta is a real thing. Even if that were the case, and they did end up nerfing the Manticore, even if that were the case, in the second slot for ICA is the ICA guarantee, and for Korolev it's the Maelstrom. Regardless of what ends up happening to the Manticore, my guess is that the Manticore is still going to be the most versatile second weapon slot. Just because it's an AR, it doesn't hurt your movement speed that much, right? It's going to be faster movement than the ICA guarantee, and it's going to have better medium to long range access than the Maelstrom will, and still will hopefully have, an AR, right? So it shoots bullets relatively fast, and for the most part that means you can hip fire in close range if you need to, so there's still potential to win close quarter fights, though, right? Because the Maelstrom's, it's a shotgun, so even though it's great in its particular niche, you'll have problems elsewhere. So even if they end up nerfing the Manticore to poopy, it may still end up being the most versatile weapon in the second slot. And so we still care about getting access to this first. And the next thing is green meds. We want strong stims. Getting the strong med kit, the blue stuff, sort of diminishing returns, but the jump from the weak stim to the strong stim is huge. And so on your journey to level 8, I highly recommend that you grind the main quests until you get access to the strong stim. It's the final reward, I believe, for stimulating developments, which is a 2-part quest, super short. Highly recommend that you get to this point. And hopefully sort of by level 8 of Osiris, you'll have access to the Manticore, the green meds, and you've been keeping up with your scripts so that you can keep your generator upgrades rolling out. But the reason why we end up stopping at level 8 specifically is because I actually don't like sort of getting more job access here. Every time you level up a faction, you get more jobs. At level 8, you unlock medium jobs. At level 12, you unlock hard jobs. We're stopping at level 8 for Osiris because I kind of like their easy and medium quests up to that point. When it comes to these jobs, a lot of them don't feel like the best time spent for reward earned. And Osiris is sort of that, it is sort of falls into that pit as well. They have like hunting 8 creatures at science labs. You know, spawning into a map, running there specifically to do it, and then completing it. It's probably not the most best time spent for one script. And sort of both their easy and their medium jobs sort of fall into that category. But what's interesting about the Osiris quest is that hunting 8 creatures at science lab, hunting creatures at vaccine labs, hunting 5 rattlers. Osiris sort of early on has a lot of job opportunities that are very easy to sort of just squeeze into your everyday raid, right? You might be hunting 5 or 8 creatures at the science facility. Don't go out of your way to do it. If you spawn on the other side of the map, don't worry about it. But every once in a while, you spawn literally at the science facility or the science campus on Bright Sands. If you have that quest active, pretty easy just to take a peek in, get a couple of creature kills, and then you move on. So I find that Osiris quests very easy to sort of just sneak into your everyday raid and sort of keep that grind going. So we focus on Osiris up to level 8, get our Manticore, get our green stems, and then we have the ability to have 2 jobs active for them. We sort of always just have them in the background, sort of slowly grinding them out. They're not our focus anymore. At this point, we're now switching over to Korolev. There's nothing special to unlock at Korolev other than access to more weapons. But we're going to focus on Korolev all the way up to level 12 because that's going to give us access to their hard missions. Korolev is the script that I found to be in the second most demand. You use their script to unlock your inventory upgrades. And I think Aurum generator cap upgrades as well, which is not very important. But for whatever reason, the demand for Korolev script is really high. Like, I think it scales faster than the Osiris script, even though we're spending Osiris script on a quantity of more upgrades, because it comes in stacks of 5. But the inventory upgrades come in stacks of 3. And I think you also use the Korolev script for the safe pockets, or I think you alternate between ICA. Either way, it doesn't matter. The reason why we're focusing on Korolev all the way up to level 12 is actually the opposite reason as to why we're stopping at 8. I don't want to dilute too many of the Osiris jobs because a lot of the earlier ones are just those easy to sneak in job opportunities. We just sort of just sneak them in and we don't worry about it. And we just grind them out slowly. Korolev, though, has I don't like the jobs for Korolev. So we're actually trying to get as many job opportunities as possible to dilute the job rotation for Korolev. Because when it comes to Korolev missions, they have a lot of dead drop missions. They have a lot of take this drill and go stash it at this dead box. Take these 3 magnetic stabilizers and stacks them in 3 separate dead drops at the center base or whatever. A lot of missions that are a little bit more dangerous, a little bit more time consuming, things that you have to like actively focus on and go do specifically. And they're just time consuming and they're really not worth it. So Osiris jobs, pretty easy to sneak in to an everyday mission where you can leave it or do it depending on how convenient it is. But to do the Korolev jobs at the beginning, they're like their own thing that you have to focus on. And when you do get convenient Korolev jobs, like deliver things, Korolev loves to take your meteor cores, your meteor fragments, clear Velstitite, altered nickel. Korolev wants all of your convenient crafting materials, your spinal bases and things like that. Things that we want to hold on to so we can craft weapons, armor, purple magazine attachments, things like that. So when Korolev mission jobs end up becoming convenient, they're actually a lot of the times a little more painful because they're taking things that we want to spend elsewhere. Which is why we're trying to get all the way up to the hard missions, just to dilute the job opportunities as much as possible, so that when you do get the job opportunity for turning in this precious crafting material, some time has probably passed between the last time you've seen it and you have built up a reserve. It doesn't feel quite as painful. You just have a larger variety of the more convenient things that you can do for the Korolev jobs. And sort of just grind it out that way. But also, the pattern that you sort of see with the jobs in general, easy to medium to hard, is that the hard jobs are not that much harder than the medium jobs I tend to find. But the payout for the hard jobs, way, way, way better. You go from 1 script for easy, 8 script for medium, to like 30 script for hard. It's a huge, huge jump, where the easy jobs tend to have diminishing returns, it feels like, with the time spent for script gained, with the hard jobs being the most bang for your buck. So we're going to go Osiris 8, Korolev 12, because we just want as many possible job opportunities, because in any given raid, you don't know always what you're going to find, and sort of just as time goes on and RNG plays itself out, you'll hopefully have a variety of things that you can then turn into Korolev as those jobs sort of turn up, and sort of getting a super fast level 12 for Korolev will make that as most convenient as possible for you. And as well as, I tend to find that I definitely ended up having trouble with Korolev script in the long run, so focusing on it second I think is going to help negate that effect. Thirdly, ICA up to level 8. If for whatever reason on your journey to Korolev level 12 you're struggling for ICA script, you can potentially stop the Korolev focus and get ICA to level 8. But personally, I'm drowning in the ICA script. I cannot get rid of it. I cannot get rid of the ICA script. I have so much of it. What's nice about leaving ICA to the very last is actually I think ICA ends up having the most bang for your buck jobs in the long run. They have medium jobs like turning in 10 water feed filaments. Super easy. Unbelievably easy. Something that you're picking up anyways because you use it for crafting. It only weighs 2, and you can find them in abundance when you get into areas that spawns them. So I find that the ICA quests in general tend to end up being that. They also have like turn in like the new beds medium job, which is like turn in 10 lumber and 10 metallic alloys. Super easy. Super duper easy. They also have the turn in 2 like nuclear reactors or whatever, which is actually something used for crafting at the higher level, but, and I know some people don't like that particular quest because it doesn't feel like it's worth it. Overall though, that the pattern for ICA jobs is, if you have a delivery quest for ICA, you know exactly where to go get it. You may not feel good about turning in 2 reactor cores to ICA, but if you need the more reactor cores, you know exactly where to go to get them. You go do a puzzle. You need a bunch of lumber for that particular quest, you know exactly where to get it, and you can get it in abundance. So whatever quest, I tend to find that all of the quests that are most convenient to do for ICA are quests that require loot that is very low RNG to find, because it spawns in a very particular place. 2 data cores for medium quest, or one valuable data core for a hard mission. Not the most convenient thing to do, but you know exactly where to go to get it. And so if you really did want to grind it out, you could, and the yield is pretty good for one valuable data core, like 30 script or whatever, right? So I tend to find that the ICA is very easy to catch up on if you do end up needing that script. So once we go Osiris 8, Korolev 12, ICA Level 8, I say at this point, focus on whatever faction you want after that, because once you do those 3 things specifically, you should have enough script, sort of grinding it out, building up a reserve, or at the very least having just enough script to keep your upgrades going, and then getting enough script hopefully by the time you need the next upgrade and things like that. So 8 for Osiris, Korolev 12, ICA 8, at which point, if you like the Osiris weapons, switch back over to them. If you like the ICA guns, switch back over to them. One thing about ICA is that they have the fastest weapon unlocks for the first half of their guns. I don't know, it seems like every other level you're unlocking a weapon. Going up to level 12, you get the Advocate, which is quite nice. But that's it. If you have any questions, details, please let me know in the comments, things that you're focusing on. And if you do try this out and you end up having script problems here or there, please let me know. And I'll maybe help Theorycraft or figure it out or revisit this concept. But I had great success sort of focusing on the factions in this particular order, allowing me to maintain enough script to keep my hideout upgrades pretty much constant. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it, and I will see you in the future.